Hello everyone. Welcome to National Learning Network's presentation. My name is Georgina Smith. I'm one of the lead applicants. Ronan Fox, one of our instructors, and Lucianne Bird, our director. Today we're going to give a very brief presentation on the key aspects of our UDL implementation, including who we are, how we have systematically implemented UDL across our organisation, the impact on students, who was involved, and finally, our future plans. So I can see a clock ticking already, so we better get started. Lucianne will introduce you to National Learning Network now.
Thank you, Georgina. Good morning. I think we're still good morning, everybody. So, National Learning Network is the education and training division of the Rehab Group. We are a national organisation with 50 colleges across Ireland. We are part of the FET ecosystem, funded by the SOLAS, the 16 ETBs and the HSE. We provide personalised education, training and development programmes to over 2,500 students annually, primarily in QQI accredited programmes at level 1 and 5, delivered by 850 qualified, experienced and committed staff. Our learning communities are diverse. We work with people who experience barriers to learning through disability and people with various health challenges, often multiple and significant challenges. Students present with complex needs that impact on their education, training and employment journeys. We work with them to remove these barriers and to create pathways into and through FET and higher education. Our response is rights-based, student-centred, outcome and impact-focused. UDL has formalised this approach and brought renewed energy and an organisational-wide focus to our approach. This is evidenced in that over 90% of students who complete training achieve positive results moving on to higher levels of training or education or to employment. We think possible. Our very ethos is to fit the programme to the student and not the student to the programme.
Thanks, Lucianne. Over the next few minutes, we will look at our systematic implementation of UDL. UDL is critical to our success. We recognise this. And because of this, we have used the UDL framework both to systematically implement UDL and to guide organisation-wide change and development. Today, we're going to highlight two aspects of this implementation in particular. Firstly, we have a new top-down approach to UDL implementation through our strategic plan. This plan has very clear, specific UDL priorities. Critically important, though, within that is the priority of providing a first-class student experience. This drives our thinking, our actions, and ultimately our UDL implementation. Secondly, and also as a result of engaging with the UDL framework, we have a new, multifaceted and multi-level UDL implementation plan in place. Systematic implementation of this plan underpins the significant investment we have made in supporting pedagogy, UDL upskilling, and the introduction of a new UDL-based technology wheel and associated technologies. This is the wheel that you see on screen. If you get to know our services, you will see, for example, a blended delivery model, a flipped classroom approach, and fantastic transformation to formative and summative assessment. But this is not about ticking boxes and being UDL compliant. UDL is about consistent principles and mindset. For us, UDL implementation means examining and reflecting on what we do for students in our many different settings, so that we have an inclusive environment from the outset. One such example, and you'll see it here on screen, is a new co-produced student induction course. This is now available to all of our students. In order to measure the impact of UDL-related changes on the experience of our students, academic research was conducted by Liz Hanley. Liz is a lead applicant for this submission and is part of our team here today. Specifically, the purpose of this research was to establish the impact of UDL on attainment levels of students with intellectual disabilities in an online learning environment. Students and staff across 3 of our locations were involved in this research. The students were completing the Hazards and Risks course, an element of the QQI Workplace Safety Level 4 module. One group of students took the course in standard format. The second group of students took the UDL-aligned course. The student average attainment on the final quiz of the non-UDL-aligned course was 67%. The student average attainment on the final quiz of the UDL-aligned course was 94%. Significant impact, evidence of the impact of UDL, and this, of course, is being used to inform both our thinking and our practice. I'm going to hand over to Ronan now, and Ronan is going to highlight one of the innovative approaches we have used to reach our students.
Thank you. I'd like everyone to meet Paul, a fantastic young man that I have the privilege of teaching. Paul had set a SMART goal of learning how to drive. Paul lives on a family farm and made it very clear that he wanted to drive the tractor and aspire to be an active contributor to the family unit. However, Paul experienced barriers when learning how to drive. In particular, passing the driver theory test and engaging in traditional driving lessons. As a result, Paul lacked the confidence to progress his goal of getting behind the wheel. We soon found ourselves thinking outside the box to help Paul achieve his goal. I have used driving simulators for many years for different projects, but never to teach somebody the basics of driving, and imagined it would be exactly what Paul needed to help him to engage and be successful in learning how to drive. We secured funding for a state-of-the-art simulator, and it gave me the opportunity to co-design a custom simulator with Digital Motorsport that provides students with a driving experience in the safety of a training room environment. Our program development officer and I designed a module that was based on the official driving license assessment. We worked closely with an approved driving instructor to create a program underpinned by UDL principles that mimicked the official test. Paul was the first student to complete the module, and he now drives the family tractor on a regular basis. The program is now available to all students nationwide, and many students are now currently working on gaining their full driver license. Let us now hear from Paul about his experience. How do you like the simulator?
That's good. I'm feeling confident.
You feel confident using it? And before we got the simulator, how did you feel about driving the tractor?
Not confident.
What about the things that you learned about driving? So do you want to tell me how the simulator works?
I have to use
Accelerator.
Accelerator. And this is brakes.
That's the brake.
Stop, and the brakes stop. This is coach and left foot.
Perfect. And what else?
And here's the thing, here, gear stick
And
with handbrake.
good.
I choose the gears, reverse, or first gear or second gear.
And we learn all about the basics of driving, don't we?
Yes.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paul. Let me hand you back to Georgina. Thank you.
Thanks, Ronan, and in particular, thanks, Paul. I'm delighted that we brought a tractor to Dublin today. So, as we all know, all the plans in the world are great, but unless we had our key stakeholders on board, our plans simply just wouldn't have worked. Our stakeholders include our students, our senior leaders, our managers, our instructors, multidisciplinary team, and external partners. Here is an example of a UDL-aligned course. This is called Inclusive Recruitment and Retention Practices. It's written in partnership with external organisations. It's now available to all employers, including those who support our students' employer-based learning goals. This new, fully online training course is designed in line with UDL principles, funded by the National Disability Authority and co-produced by our organisation, Not So Different as I Am and Walk. So let's look at how our management team are involved in implementing UDL. Our regional development teams are involved in course and assessment redesign incorporating UDL principles. And as they do this, they promote, embed, sustain and enable transfer of UDL practice to all stakeholders. They share and transfer practice across National Learning Network, regionally and nationally. This happens at face-to-face and online meetings, via resource hubs in Moodle, in shared Microsoft Teams channels, and at our national UDL practice showcases and celebration events, such as the screenshot of the one pictured on the screen just now. Our management team identify, support, embed and promote UDL practice. They understand what UDL implementation means in their local context. This is evidenced as they support the overall implementation plan, facilitate staff time for training and development, but also work individually with local UDL champions around the country to share learning and reflect on practice locally. Our managers also support and encourage those UDL champions to get involved in UDL implementation as peer group facilitators and mentors on internal and external UDL programs. Critically, a number of our UDL champions are members of our UDL community of practice, along with both of the UDL leads. This community of practice informs our learning and guides UDL implementation at a national level. It enables us to identify challenges and successes of the implementation of the strategic plan in a timely way, so plans can be reviewed and adapted as implementation progresses. And we did have challenges, and even better, we learned from them, and we will continue to do that. One such challenge related to the capacity of our organisation to scale up the UDL digital badge rollout on a national basis. Insights from our community of practice resulted in us making two changes to implementation. Firstly, by lowering the facilitator to peer group ratio, and then by adopting a facilitator buddy approach. This learning guided the first and the subsequent rollouts and ensured that they were set up for success. So I'm sure Lucianne is really eager now to tell you about future plans. So over to you, Lucianne.
And I'm watching the clock. The student will continue to be at the centre of all our future plans. This means creating ever more meaningful partnerships with students through their student representative body at both local, regional and national level. Our plan with the students is to create an advisory UDL group with their input. We will continue to capture the impact of UDL implementation for all students by increasing our qualitative measures and implementing quantitative measures on a systematic basis. Feedback through our annual student satisfaction survey, student involvement in our quality programme reviews, and their participation in a quality of life measurement tool, which we're currently developing with European partners, will all be used to measure impact for students. And we will share these student impacts widely with the UDL community. Ensuring our staff are upskilled is also key, and our newly developed Staff Training Academy will provide UDL teaching and learning pathways for all staff with UDL as a baseline. This complements existing training in disability awareness, inclusion practices, assistive technology, and our in-house psychology-led training. Our future plans will see UDL strategically embedded across the organisation, guided by our recently published strategy, and indeed by the forensically detailed John Kelly Award rubric. We have committed to increase funding to embed UDL projects significantly in 2022 and will continue that commitment into 2023 and beyond. This includes appointment of a team, including a new head of service and programme development, 3 new posts in the e-learning team, and reconfiguration of existing resources to include a national UDL manager. So in summary, I just want to say we are committed to embedding the UDL framework across the entire organisation. We have shown how UDL implementation is formalised via our strategy and our business planning process. Our UDL implementation plan are co-produced, agreed, shared, implemented, reviewed and revised annually with our students and our staff. Our progress and our commitment is to continue that approach. Our implementation targets have been met to date, and as we progress, the UDL framework gives us an organisational-wide lens of principles, a mindset, a framework and a shared language through which we will review our practice and indeed revise our practice. We are passionate about upholding the rights of all students to an education that is appropriate to their needs. For NLN, this means delivering a first-class student experience enabled, supported and sustained by and with the UDL framework at our centre. So we think possible. Thank you so much. Thank you to our students, to our staff and to our funders.